Martinez in goal and a back four of Target, Mings, Conce and Cash. In midfield, Ramsey, Louise and Majin, and then Buendia and Young behind Watkins. We're closing in on kick-off at Carrow Road, where Norwich City take on Aston Villa. And for Dean Smith's Canaries, they make 4 changes to the team who lost 1-0 at home to Manchester United last time. Out go Giannoulis, Rob, Hanley and Sargent. In come Gibson, Williams, Sorensen and Campbell. Just 1 change for Steven Gerrard's Villains, who lost 1-0 at Anfield last time, with Nakamba replaced by Buendia against his former club. So the Canaries line up with Crolling goal, a back four of Aarons, Gibson, Kabak and Williams. And then in midfield, Sorensen, Gilmore and McLean supporting Plaqueta, Cantwell and Pookie. For Villa, it's Martinez in goal and a back four of Target, Mings, Conce and Cash. In midfield, Ramsey, Louise and Majin, and then Buendia and Young behind Watkins. We're closing in on kick-off at Carrow Road, where Norwich City take on Aston Villa. And for Dean Smith's Canaries, they make 4 changes to the team who lost 1-0 at home to Manchester United last time. Out go Giannoulis, Rob, Hanley and Sargent. In come Gibson, Williams, Sorensen and Campbell. Just 1 change for Steven Gerrard's Villains, who lost 1-0 at Anfield last time, with Nakamba replaced by Buendia against his former club. So the Canaries line up with Crolling goal, a back four of Aarons, Gibson, Kabak and Williams. And then in midfield, Sorensen, Gilmore and McLean supporting Plaqueta, Cantwell and Pookie. For Villa, it's Martinez in goal and a back four of Target, Mings, Conce and Cash. In midfield, Ramsey, Louise and Majin, and then Buendia and Young behind Watkins. We're closing in on kick-off at Carrow Road, where Norwich City take on Aston Villa. And for Dean Smith's Canaries, they make 4 changes to the team who lost 1-0 at home to Manchester United last time. Out go Giannoulis, Rob, Hanley and Sargent. In come Gibson, Williams, Sorensen and Campbell. Just 1 change for Steven Gerrard's Villains, who lost 1-0 at Anfield last time, with Nakamba replaced by Buendia against his former club. So the Canaries line up with Crolling goal, a back four of Aarons, Gibson, Kabak and Williams. And then in midfield, Sorensen, Gilmore and McLean supporting Plaqueta, Cantwell and Pookie. For Villa, it's Martinez in goal and a back four of Target, Mings, Conce and Cash. In midfield, Ramsey, Louise and Majin, and then Buendia and Young behind Watkins. We're closing in on kick-off at Carrow Road, where Norwich City take on Aston Villa. And for Dean Smith's Canaries, they make 4 changes to the team who lost 1-0 at home to Manchester United last time. Out go Giannoulis, Rob, Hanley and Sargent. In come Gibson, Williams, Sorensen and Campbell. Just 1 change for Steven Gerrard's Villains, who lost 1-0 at Anfield last time, with Nakamba replaced by Buendia against his former club. So the Canaries line up with Crolling goal, a back four of Aarons, Gibson, Kabak and Williams. And then in midfield, Sorensen, Gilmore and McLean supporting Plaqueta, Cantwell and Pookie. For Villa, it's Martinez in goal and a back four of Target, Mings, Conce and Cash. In midfield, Ramsey, Louise and Majin, and then Buendia and Young behind Watkins. We're closing in on kick-off at Carrow Road, where Norwich City take on Aston Villa. And for Dean Smith's Canaries, they make 4 changes to the team who lost 1-0 at home to Manchester United last time. Out go Giannoulis, Rob, Hanley and Sargent. In come Gibson, Williams, Sorensen and Campbell. Just 1 change for Steven Gerrard's Villains, who lost 1-0 at Anfield last time, with Nakamba replaced by Buendia against his former club. So the Canaries line up with Crolling goal, a back.
Right, enough jibber jabber. The players have taken the knee. They're just about to kick off, and indeed they have just kicked off. So at Carrow Road, at least there is some football tonight, and no Omicron ruling, and they have kicked off. I'm John Hogan. I'm joined by Cameron Pope tonight, and Cameron, it should be a good game. There's lots of injuries around this period, that many games happening. At least the good news tonight is it's in about 12 degrees at Carrow Road, and feasibly warm really for this time of year. but this should be a hot game because both these two teams are nearer the bottom of the table than the top.
Well, plenty, certainly further on into the season now, and it's important as ever to try and get a string of runs together. We've seen Norwich flirt briefly with a patch of form last month. They need to try and pick that up again. We've seen teams down the bottom now start to take points off one another, and both, certainly Villa will be looking over their shoulder, and Norwich now, the pressure is firmly on them.
Yeah, so Villa have got a corner kick almost immediately, and an opportunity then to try and catch the Canaries cold before Norwich can get on the ball, which is of course their famous chant. Famous if you're in Norfolk, that is. Anyway, it's a corner kick, one hand in the air for Douglas Luiz, and then a right-footed raking ball to the far post, easily nodded away by Todd Cantwell. That was a bit of a waste. Matty Cash then steers it down to Douglas Luiz, a bit of defending. Max Aaron's on the wrong flank, and then a header comes in. Watkins on target, but that's an easy save for Tim Krul. But well, we're already off to some kind of start. I feel this could be a really sort of even encounter, Cameron.
Yes, it's a promising first move from Villa, really. You've got to feel that if Watkins, perhaps he's just getting warmed up there, either side of the goalkeeper, you've got to force him at least into making some sort of save. But exactly, we're looking at these two teams. You see Dean Smith coming up against the Norwich side that he knows very, very well. You wonder perhaps whether there might be an element of each side having figured each other out, really. And so you've got to put that element into the contest too. I think there's a lot to play for, and I think it could be quite tight-knit.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it, how these fixtures come up. I mean, who'd have thought Dean Smith at Norwich and then Steve Gerrard at Villa at the start of the season? That would have seemed bizarre, weird, and just a bit strange, really. But here we are. Buendia back at his former club as well, and so yeah, it's a weird old world. Personally, I think that Dean Smith's a pretty good manager. If you look at Aston Villa's website, Wikipedia, notable managers, they've got him in there, and of course he won a championship playoff to get Villa into the top flight. So he knows, the team back to front, like you said, and he knows all the players in it too. For Norwich, then Daniel Farke did seem to have lost the plot, I thought. Anyway, we'll break off here now. Come Villa, they made a grand start to the game. Conser drives forward, a ball into the box. Eventually, is blocked away. I think that might have been Jakob Sorensen, the Dane, in there. Although they launched the ball to Teemu Pukki. It doesn't reach him. Douglas Luiz tries to mop up then, and Norwich for about the first time have the ball. I am a big fan of Dean Smith, and I think he has decided quite rightly that Billy Gilmore deserves to be in this team, and he's starting when he wasn't for Farke. Has it all just come a little bit too late for them? I mean, we almost had them down after 10 games, didn't we? But there was a slight sort of bubble with Dean Smith there. Now it's reverted back to type.
Well, it's reverted back to type. You've got to look at the teams that they've played at most recently. You're thinking your Manchester United, your Tottenham, and okay, the real sticker in there is the 1-1 draw with the 10 men in Newcastle and 10 men for most of the game as well. I wouldn't be overly worried for Norwich fans. The last 6 games were in win 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. They're starting to pick up points where they completely weren't at the start of the season, and it's still very congested down that bottom end. And so I don't think exactly panic stations, or certainly no more than it was a few short weeks ago. It's definitely salvageable from this point, but they need to see an upturn in performances as well as results. I don't think it's quite as dire as it was looking though.
No, I agree with that. I think they're a bit better, and like you said, it's all concertinaed at the bottom. It's tough, and well, you can take that almost up to halfway in the table, can't you? With 3 points for a win, you go on a little run, and you never know. Anyway, Cash with a good ball into box there. Don't think Watkins believed he was going to get that, but the defending wasn't particularly great. So Kabak just watching that ball go past him, not really aware that Watkins was on his shoulder. He's the danger man and the top scorer for his team this season, but only 4 goals in the Premier League. Ollie Watkins, I think, was a pretty good signing for them. Anyway, Norwich have got a throw now deep inside their own territory. Max Aarons will take the throw toward the halfway line, gets nowhere near that really, and I would say that Villa have started the brighter. Had a bit of a disappointment having played pretty poorly at Anfield. They were only a goal down, and then they started creating 1 or 2 chances, but it was probably right and fitting that they did lose. And I thought Steve Gerrard did well not to make it all about him, that encounter. He wasn't interested in all the talk about him and Liverpool. It was about him and Villa. and I think he's more than committed to the cause and sort of made all the right noises. Here's Kenny McLean on the ball now. He finds Todd Cantwell trying just to get a little bit more comfortable on the ball. Brandon Williams, who of course didn't play against his parent club but last time, but has played quite well, is on the ball, and now just Norwich players beginning to get a little bit of a feel. They need to settle down, Cameron, because clearly Villa has started the brighter.
Yes, they've certainly had you would say the share of the opening possession in the territory. Nothing really stellar so far. You're looking at that header from Watkins that wasn't ever really going to test Krul. But no, you want to be seeing now Norwich to be burning up towards the 10-minute mark. We want to be seeing them get out the half and have some meaningful possession. We've seen very little, but I'm not going to be too harsh on them just so early. They're letting Villa. A few jabs have been thrown. They're shaping, the sizing each other up. I don't know. I wouldn't be overly concerned now if I'm looking on as Dean Smith, but what we haven't seen really is that front three getting on the ball at all. You want to see the influence of Teemu Pukki. You know, he's scored the last 3 goals that Norwich have netted, and really you can only imagine he'll be the outlet today. You can't really see, and that's part of the problem, where else the goals or indeed the chances are going to come from.
Here's Cantwell on the ball now. Something meaningful for Norwich. Just to say that they lose the ball, don't they? Of course they do. Anyway, can Villa make anything? Well, it's a strong challenge from the back from Ben Gibson there, and he seemed to go through Emi Buendia, at least according to our referee we've not mentioned yet. That's David Coote, who decided that there was a free kick. Now Matty Cash, the Polish international, that's something I didn't quite reckon for. I know he's from Slough and had been covering him for a while, his career with Nottingham Forest and then Villa, but that was news to me. Anyway, he plays pretty well and gets hold of the ball, back to McGinn. And now with the Cash, chance for an early ball, rakes that ball in, just the edge of the area. Douglas Luiz wins the next ball. Watkins lays it back to Concert. And just playing pretty well within themselves at the moment as, again, McGinn is on the ball. He's straightening up now for a strike. Oh, and it's tipped over by Krul. What happened to that shot? I mean, he seemed to get right underneath it, Tim Krul. It looked like it was going to be something to be easily saved, and then he had to tip it over.
Well, it must have moved in the air, John. I was thinking the same thing, really. You seem to think the goalkeeper's got this one comfortably. Oh, you can see the dip on it, actually. He's got a lot of topspin on that as he's hit it. He's really come over the ball as John McGinn. He's whipped it down towards the crossbar. And Tim Krul, he's got a lot of watching to do there, and in the end, the punch over the crossbar is probably the best option.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That ball moved, didn't it? Swerved and dipped in the air. The way he hits it, got a lot of action on the ball. Anyway, here they are again at the edge of the area. This time again tries to pass it slightly behind Douglas Luiz, but he's able to straighten up a little bit now. And then he finds Matty Cash. Again, McGinn. As again, Villa just seen a lot more of the ball. Ashley Young then playing as a winger today. He'd can play a variety of positions, including wing back and even full back more recently, hasn't he? But anyway, he in a more familiar position as they try and play Concert around the back. Brandon Williams gets there ahead of him, and then it is Matty Cash. He just runs that ball out, comes off his ankle. Anyway, goalless, 9 minutes into the start. It's quite not necessarily warm, but it's certainly not a cold night at Carrow Road. Pitch looks perfect. Not right for this time of year, is it? You expect to be frozen solid, don't you? But anyway, it's a good night for football, really. As again, Norwich trying to make some ground, but McLean chopped down by Cash, and that will be a free kick inside his own half. Game's not settled yet, Cameron, but let me push you for a score, or at least the team who's going to win it.
Well, it's always difficult to say. I think on the opening show, and you won't be surprised, John, you've got to say Villa. It's been very fragmented, though, so far, even though we saw the early promise from Villa and they've had the 2 chances we've seen. It's been, both sides have struggled really for meaningful possession, stringing meaningful passes together. We've seen Villa with a lot of the territory. Actually, penetrating that Norwich back line has been something they've not really managed to do so far yet. We saw them again test the palms of Krul from long distance, and a relatively easy catch for him from the header of Watkins too. I do side with Villa though, not only because of league position and perhaps form, although both sides are coming into it mixed. I'm just looking at the 2 sides now, and man for man, pound for pound, I do think that there's just more options in that Villa team. You know, you've got Emiliano Buendia, the big money move, obviously from the side he's playing against tonight. You look at the other wing, and you see Ashley Young, and of course all the prowess and the experience that he can bring. Ollie Watkins as well on his day can be as fine as anyone in that bottom half of the Premier League. I just see more options at Villa side.
Yeah, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. I think Villa 2-1, something like that tonight, but obviously that's the kiss of death then. Sorry, Villa fans, as McGinn gives away a free kick there. He dangles a foot across Brandon Williams and gets the ball, but you can't do that anymore. You know, if the next action is the man falling over your leg, then you fouled him, I'm afraid. McGinn doesn't like it, but that's what it is. You know, David Coote's given the right decision there. Anyway, 11 minutes gone, and it's the first real opportunity for the Canaries. I feel we've kind of talked him into something now, both having suggested that Villa are likely to be winners. But Villa had started brighter. However, the referee just having a word with a few players in the middle in the schmozzle. As from the left-hand side, parallel with the edge of the area, then it's a Norwich City free kick as the ball comes in from Gilmore. That's headed away by Watkins. Ball breaks out for Cantwell. Terrible shot from him. Somehow it landed in the box, and eventually it's just fly-hacked clear. Blimey, Cameron, if that's the best that Norwich can offer tonight, they're in big trouble, aren't they?
Oh, it was a really awkward one, and I think the problem was as well, when the ball does come back in, they get a slice of fortune when Cantwell hams it down into the ground and it bounces up, and then the only problem is that you look back at who's coming through and Ben Gibson stood offside, and so I can't understand the sense in that really there. There's two Norwich players stood beyond the second rearmost defender, and that useless ball from Cantwell, well, that ball from Cantwell proves useless in the end, although to be honest, looking at the way he hit it and the way it cannoned back off his shin, I don't think it was really by design at all.
No, not at all. Anyway, they've got to do better than that. However, it works out as Villa win the ball back in the middle of the field yet again. On the turn is Buendia. Little Marseille turn.